Hi everyone, Ro here from Knack, and today I'm going to be showing you how to automatically capture an end date. So diving right in, we are taking a look at my document manager. So let's say I'm entering in documents that have a start date and an expiration date. So let's go ahead and enter an example here. And I'll use today as my start date. And you'll see that my new record here that I just entered has a start date of 5/27/2021 and an expiration date of 5/27/2022. So how did I do this? How did I automatically get this expiration date by only entering in my start date? That is done with an equation field. So let's jump into the builder and take a look at how we set this up. So over in the builder, we're on our schema tab and we're looking at the document object that I've already set up. We've got a short text field for document name. We've got a date field that's just simply capturing that start date. And then we've got this equation field that we have configured to calculate our expiration date. Let's take a deeper look at this expiration date equation field. So I want you to notice a couple things that we have configured here. We have set the equation type to date. So it's going to be looking at date values, and that's what we want it to calculate. By default, Knack will set it to numeric. We'll want to update that to our date. The next section is the date type. So in our example, I was calculating a year ahead. I want to see the expiration date a year out. You can update this to hours. You can update it to days. Maybe you're giving somebody a 14-day trial, so you'll want to use days in that equation. If it's a 2-week trial, then you'll do the weeks here. But depending upon that data or how you need that to be converted, you'll make that choice here under your date type. The next option is the result type, and this is just your output. What do you want to see? Do you want to see a number, or would you rather see an actual date? In my example here, we were outputting a date. We saw an actual date here in the future. So we want that to be our output or the result type. The next important step is the equation editor. This is where we actually now set up the equation to do what we want it to do. So we're going to choose our start date field, and then we're just going to simply add a 1. Since it is in years, we just want to calculate 1 year ahead, so we'll just add 1, and that's it. It's that straightforward. So once you've configured things this way, you can go ahead and just update the field. And as you can see now in our example, we're able to add any new document here, and we can add the expiration date. We can choose any date and hit submit, and you'll see that new document added with the newest expiration date a year out. One other example that I'd like to take you through is what if that number is going to vary. So maybe it's not, again, we talked about 14 days or 30 days or 1 week or 2 weeks. What if you have this variable that you want to incorporate into your workflow? That's possible too with Knack, and I'll take you through kind of that setup. So in our document, we had our document name, start date, and we had our expiration date. However, we can add one more field to the mix. So again, we are going to add, we've got our short text field for the document name, we've got our date field for the start date. We're going to add a number field. This is going to allow us to capture that variable that we were talking about earlier. We're going to capture the number of days that we're going to set for each document and have that set the expiration date. And that's it. We're just going to capture that number, so we're going to add that. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab the equation field again to get that expiration date. I'm going to set my equation type to date. I'm going to choose days because again we're going to use days to calculate this. And then we're going to choose the date output because I still want to see a date. I'm going to grab my start date, but then the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add whatever I input into that number field that I added, my number of days field. And that's it as far as that goes. So now I can have a little bit more control over when that start and end date happens, but based on the value that I enter in my number of days field. So I'm going to go ahead and add that field. And taking a quick look over here at records, and let's add a test record. So now we've got this record. We're going to say our start date is today, but in 14 days from now, I want to see what that expiration date is. This won't update right here live in the builder, but as soon as I hit submit, it will update. And as you can see now, that 14 days from 5/27 is 6/10. So it's that straightforward. You can enter in any number into this field and get that newest expiration date. So that's another way of handling that workflow as well. Hopefully this helps. Please let us know if you have any further questions. Reach out to us at support@knack.com. Thanks for joining me.